Let's all go over to our mats and find a comfortable seat here. I like easy pose. It feels good on my hips and my legs. I have pretty open hips. My hips are kind of angled out to the side, so it feels really good to me to sit like this. You can also sort of stretch your legs out in front of you if that feels better on your hips or on your legs or anything like that. We just want to get really comfortable here. You can sit in a traditional cross-legged position with your feet tucked under your knees, anywhere that you feel good. And then kind of move around in your seat a little bit. You can rock side to side, back and forth. Just wiggle around a little, get all your last wiggles out, and see if you can find a place of stillness. If you like here, you can close your eyes, or maybe just drop the gaze down to the ground in front of you, just a few inches in front of you, and just relax your gaze here. And bring your awareness to your spine for a moment. See if you can sit up a little taller and then relax into your seat. Maybe do that a couple times. Sit up really tall, lengthening the spine, pushing the shoulders down, and then relaxing into the seat. And find that comfortable medium where you feel like you're not slouching, but you're not trying too hard to sit up tall. And then as you find that comfortable place of stillness, start to bring awareness to your breath. First, just notice how the breath is feeling today. No need to change anything at the beginning here. We're just checking in. Maybe you feel congested today. Maybe it feels really clear. And see if you can notice any sensations that are associated with your breath here. We use lots of different body parts all working together to breathe. So you might feel your awareness being pulled towards any of those different areas that you're using as you breathe in and out. You can start with your nose, feeling your breath on the inside of your nose. Maybe noticing how the temperature changes with the inhales and the exhales. Maybe you can follow your breath all the way down through your throat. Feeling the air on the inside of your throat. And then let's move into our torso. See where you feel your breath there. So many different areas. You might feel your breath in your shoulders, or maybe in your chest area, your lungs, your belly, or your back. And now just sitting with those sensations, start to stretch your breath out. And see which of those those breath sensations becomes more noticeable. Or maybe there's different things that start to catch your attention here as you're lengthening, deepening each breath. Stretching the breath out little by little. Each inhale, each exhale, just a little bit longer than the previous one. Until every time you breathe in, you feel your lungs filling up all the way with fresh, clean air. And on your exhales, you're emptying out, pushing out every last speck of stale air from your lungs, clearing out all the way. Imagine that your breath is always coming to the forefront of your mind. Sometimes we may have other intrusive thoughts, thoughts that come in, take your attention away, but just bring your attention back to the breath every time. Imagine that your breath is pushing those thoughts out of your mind, out of your body, and just bringing your focus fully present to this moment. And with your attention fully inside of your body. Do a little body scan here, head to toe, checking in for any areas that feel off or sore today. These may be new spots or older injuries. Remember that each body is different. We all have our own unique history, our own unique genetic makeup. So our abilities are all going to be somewhat different. And you can always change a pose or skip a pose if it's not right for your body. But also, these ancient practices, these different positions and breathing exercises that we can bring our bodies into, they can also offer us different sensations, different calm feelings. They can help us calm ourselves down, bring ourselves to the present moment. And you can always take these practices and use them later on as well. So anything we do today, you can do on your own. And take a couple more big, full, deep breaths here, just being inside of your body on your yoga mat. Blinking your eyes open. Let's come into a forward fold. Big breath in to sweep the hands up overhead. And exhale, folding forward, pulling the hands through heart center, releasing the fingertips down to the ground, and then starting to crawl the fingers forward, keeping the spine really long and relaxing into the fold. Once you find your edge, letting your back round out and letting your head and neck come down, and then dropping the elbows down if that feels good. Start to crawl your fingertips over to the right here. Just keep your chest really low. They don't have to go over a lot. Maybe they're going a lot or a little. Sometimes that might feel really good on that open side. Left side. And then let's crawl our hands the other way. A lot or a little, however far it feels right to you. And notice how that feels on your right side. And come back to center. And then on a breath in, lift your chest up, coming back up to a seat, floating the hands all the way up overhead. Exhaling into a twist. One hand comes behind us and the other hand rests in front of us or crossing over the opposite knee, taking a big breath in to sit up tall. As you breathe out, see if you can go a little deeper into the twist. One more time, big breath in to sit up tall, coming out of the twist just a little bit. And exhaling deeper into the twist, bending the elbows and peeking over the back shoulder. On your next inhale, come back to center, float the hands up overhead. As you breathe out, release, twisting around the other way. Other hand comes behind, this hand resting in front or crossing over the opposite knee. Big breath in, sit up as tall as you can. And on the exhale, bending the elbows, peeking over the back shoulder, twisting deeper. Inhale, coming out of the twist just a little bit to sit up a little taller. Exhaling, twisting deeper. Back up to center. On the breath in, floating the hands up overhead. Exhale, release, hands in the lap, and then reach down and switch the legs, bringing the front leg to the back, pushing the back leg out in front. One more time, lifting the hands up overhead, stretching the spine up tall. And on the exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips, releasing the fingertips down. Letting your torso relax down towards the ground. Don't worry about how far you get down, however far you feel comfortable going is fine. It could be a lot or a little. And then let's do that little side stretch here, crawling the fingertips over to the left, a lot or a little. Notice how that feels on the right side. And going the other way, crawling the hands back over to the right. And just noticing how that feels on the left side. Come back to center on a breath in, lifting the chest back up to a seat. And let's make our way into hands and knees tabletop here. You can plant your hands on the ground and then roll over the knees or swing the legs around to one side. Take a moment to set up your alignment here. We want to bring our wrists right underneath our shoulders to give ourselves a nice solid base. And have a little micro bend in the knuckles here, gripping the mat with the pads at the ends of the fingers and the curve at the bottom of the palm. And then bring the knees together to touch right underneath the hips. And let's step one foot back, tucking the toes under, pushing through the heel. Really nice calf stretch here. You can rock back and forth a little bit, pushing through the heel. Really intensifies the stretch, so you can push a lot or a little. Find some movement or maybe find some stillness. Release on switch sides. Drop that knee back to its spot on the mat. Tuck the other toes under. And push through the heel. Maybe finding some movement. Or if you find a good stretching spot, you can just stay there and stretch for a minute if that feels good. And then bringing that knee back to its spot on the mat. Lift the other leg up. Bringing that leg parallel to the ground here. Toes pointing straight down, pushing through the heel, flexing the toes. And then if it feels okay on your balance, you can lift your opposite arm as well. We're going to do some crunches. Take a big breath in here. On your exhale, elbow to knee, coming into a little crunch. If your hand is on the ground, just bring your knee to your nose. 2 more with the breath. Inhale to stretch it out. Exhale into the crunch. Last one. Inhale, stretching it out. Exhale, elbow to knee, knee to nose. Stretch it out. Take a big breath in. And then release. Drop your hand and knee back down to their spots on the mat and switch sides. Other leg comes up, pushing through the sole of the foot. Bring that leg parallel to the ground, maybe lifting the opposite arm. Maybe that hand stays down on the ground. Big breath in to stretch it out. Exhale, elbow to knee, or maybe just knee to nose. 2 more with the breath. Inhale to lengthen. As you breathe out, coming into the crunch. Last one, stretch it out long, big breath in. Exhale, coming into the crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release, hand and knee back down to the mat, and let's make our way to child's pose. Opening up the knees, putting some space between the knees, and then bringing the big toes together to touch. If they're overlapping, one of them might squish the other. You can push your hips back towards your heels, but they don't need to be touching the heels. Just relaxing back on the lower legs, and then relax your head down. Let your elbows come to the mat. Close your eyes and bring awareness to your breath. We spent lots of time noticing all the different sensations associated with the breath at the very beginning of our flow. See if you can bring your memory back to that moment and compare the sensations that you're feeling now to those that were catching your attention at the beginning of class. So there's nothing specific we're looking for here. Just noticing, are they the same sensations? Maybe they're different. See if you can notice how they may have changed, or maybe they just feel exactly the same. That's okay too. We're just noticing. On your next inhale, lift your chest up, coming back to hands and knees, tabletop. And we're going to come all the way up to standing. However you want to get here. We'll start with Tadasana, mountain pose, or equal standing posture. We want to have our big toes touching with some space between the heels, or the other position is right underneath your hips, kind of lined up on 2 different train tracks there. Whichever one feels good is okay. And then look down at your toes, spread them all out, and set them back down on the mat, and then rock back and forth. We're waking up the nerve endings on the feet, noticing all the different points of contact that our feet are making with the earth here. You can even come onto the sides of the feet, find all four corners of both of your arches, and notice all the pockets underneath your feet that are not touching the earth here. Maybe under the toes, under the arch of the foot. Really notice where it is that you put pressure on your feet when you're standing up. And then find stillness, lifting up through the spine. We can bring our hands by our sides, bring some awareness into the hands, palms facing forward if that feels good, or just hanging down comfortably. Roll the shoulders down the back, lifting up on the spine. Imagine that you feel a string pulling the top of your head up to the skies, stretching your spine as tall as you can possibly be. And close your eyes for a minute. Just take a couple big, full, deep breaths here. See how balanced you feel. See if it feels like both sides of your body are equally balanced here. Let's blink our eyes open and come into a forward fold. As you breathe in, floating the hands up overhead. Look up and bringing the hands together. Exhale, folding forward, bending the knees, keeping the spine long, hinging from the hips, relaxing the upper body down. Stay here for a breath in and out. And on your next inhale, rise back up to standing, bend the knees, let the arms dangle down as you stack your vertebrae, unrolling the spine one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, coming back into mountain pose. Let's do that 2 more times with the breath. As you breathe in, floating the hands up. On the exhale, knees bend, hinge forward from the hips. Take your time on the way down. Relax the upper body down. Stay here for a breath in and out. And as you breathe in, come back up to standing. Let the arms dangle down. Unroll the spine. And exhale, coming back into mountain pose. One last time. Just go with your breath. Breathing in to lift the hands up. On the exhale, knees bent, keeping the spine long, relaxing into the forward fold, staying here just a big breath in and out. And when you feel ready, on a breath in, bend the knees, inhales to standing, unrolling the spine. Exhale, mountain pose. All right, let's start our warrior sequence here. I like to have my hands on my hips to set up my legs. We're going to step one foot back, and this other foot, we're going to point the toes straight towards the short end of the mat. Scoot those toes forward, bend the front knee, and then peek down at your feet. We want to line our feet up so that the front heel is either intersecting the back heel or the center of the back foot, right at the back arch. Your front knee can be right over the ankle or even just a little bit behind if that feels good, but we don't want our knee to be in front of the ankle. If it's in front of the ankle, you can always scoot the toes forward a little bit or just lift up a little on the knee. And then check on your spine, making sure the spine is centered right above the hips. Okay, again, it's telling me that I'm signed out. I don't think that's actually true. Maybe I'm just here still with a different account. Who knows? Okay, we're just going to keep on doing yoga. Make sure the spine is centered right above the hips. Lift the arms up. Peeking on the back hand, making sure it's nice and high, and bringing the gaze to the front middle finger. And let's move the breath. Inhale, straighten out the front knee, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, bending the knee and coming back down to warrior two. 4 more. Just go at your own pace here. A big part of yoga is listening to your body and then moving at the pace of your own breath. So don't worry about how fast or slow I'm going or how fast or slow anybody else around you is going. Just go at the pace of your own breath. Last one. Meeting back in warrior two. On our next inhale, let's come into reverse warrior. Legs stay the same, arms flip up and back. Upper arm comes arcing overhead like a rainbow. You can just let your fingers dangle down. And this back hand, you can rest it on the back leg. Or if it feels good, you can also wrap it back behind you and reach the fingers around towards the front hip. Take one more big breath in here. On the exhale, keep the legs the same. Windmill the arms around. Drop the front elbow down to the front knee. And then stretch this upper arm overhead. Imagine you're making a straight line from the top middle finger all the way through the back heel. Keep the hips really open towards the side and push that shoulder down the back. So sometimes we have a tendency to lift up on that arm. We want to stretch it all the way up. Keep the shoulder pushed down the back. That just protects the shoulder a little bit. Let's do those 2 poses 3 more times with the breath. Inhale, rising up. Reverse warrior. Exhale, coming back down to extended side angle. Move with your breath in and out. Inhale, coming up. On the exhale, dropping back down again. Remember to just listen to your breath, going at your own pace. Last one. Exhale, dropping the elbow, stretching that upper arm overhead. Inhale, coming back to warrior 2. And as you breathe out, windmill the arms around, drop them both down, framing the front foot, lifting that back heel up off the ground. And then we're going to bring weight to this opposite hand from the front foot and lift the other arm up, stretching the other arm up to the sky, pushing through that back heel. If you would like, you can always drop the back knee down if it's just feeling like too much to keep it up. Take one last big breath in here. And as you breathe out, release that upper hand down to the ground. Look forward, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, step that back foot up to the front, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, rising to standing, knees bent, unrolling the spine. Exhale, mountain pose. Let's try the other side. Hands to the hips. We're going to step the other foot back, so I'm just going to turn around here. Have my other toes pointing straight towards the short end of the mat. Back toes turned towards the long edge of the mat. I've got that deep bend in the front knee, right over the ankle or a little behind, keeping my spine centered above the hips, and then lifting the arms up. Peek on the backhand, making sure it's nice and high. Gaze comes to the front middle finger, and let's move. Inhale, straighten out the front knee, bringing the hands up overhead. Exhale, bending the knee, lowering back down. Warrior 2. Keep going, finding your own rhythm. Yoga is really a chance to get to know yourself physically, what's happening in your body. So just really listen to your breath here. However fast or slow the breath is going, that's the speed that you should be moving at. Last one, inhale to come up. And back down again as you breathe out. Meeting back in warrior 2. Let's try our other warrior sequence here. As you breathe in, reverse warrior. Front arm comes up overhead, arcing like a rainbow. Just let those fingers dangle down and this back hand resting on the back leg. Or perhaps it feels better to wrap it back behind you. Fingers reaching around towards the front hip. Take one more big breath in here. On the exhale, legs stay the same, windmilling the arms around. Drop the front elbow to the front knee and stretch that upper arm overhead. Keep the shoulder locked down the back, not stretching up into the ear. And let's do those 2 poses 3 more times with the breath. Rising up on an inhale, coming to reverse warrior. Exhale, back down. Extended side angle. 2 more, listening to your breath. Just moving at your own pace. And last one. Inhale, coming back up to warrior 2. And on the breath out, cartwheeling the hands down, framing the front foot, planting your hands on either side of that front foot. Whichever hand is opposite the front foot, plant that hand right on the mat, and with a breath in, lift your other arm up. You can always drop the back knee down to the mat if you're feeling a little wobbly here, and stretch those upper fingers up to the sky. Take one more big breath in here. As you breathe out, release your upper hand down to the ground. Look forward, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, step the back foot up to the front. Big toes touching, little space between the heels. Forward fold. Inhale to standing, bend the knees, unroll the spine. Exhale, coming to mountain pose. All right, let's take a little break here. A little seated break. Making your way into a comfortable seated position. I'm going to cross my legs the awkward way for this break just to give my body a little different experience, balance myself out a little bit, just like we did at the beginning. Take a moment to get comfortable here. Rocking side to side, forward and back. Rest your hands in your lap or on your knees, palms facing up or down, and then close your eyes. Check in with your breath. Remember, there's nothing specific that we want to notice here. Just let your body tell you what it is that it wants you to know about your breath. Notice what pulls your attention, where in your body you're feeling your breath. Think back to our last breath check-in and our beginning breathing exercise and see if you can notice any subtle changes in the breath or things that are the same, similarities. We're just raising our body sense here, just raising our awareness of what exactly is going on inside our bodies at any given time. These these practices, this exercise of just bringing our awareness to our breath is something that we can use later on. Anytime we feel agitated, anytime we start to notice new sensations in our body, just bringing the awareness to the breath can be really grounding. The breath is always with you, never goes away. Let's blink our eyes open. We're just going to do a little boat pose here before we stand up and move on to our balancing exercises. Boat pose can also be a little balancing exercise, just balancing right there on our sit bones. So we'll come into it step by step, and you can stay at any of the steps. You can just stay there. However far you want, however deep, however far you want to go into the pose is fine. Start by pointing the knees up to the sky, bringing the feet together, and then you can have your hands outside of the knees, one outside of each knee, or clasped together outside of both. And then lean back a little bit and try to get a little bit of extra length in your spine, sitting up really tall. So if this already feels like enough, you can stay right here. If you want to go deeper, releasing the hands, tucking the fingertips in the creases of both knees. And then one at a time, start to float the feet. And so we can stay here. We can release our hands out to the sides. And if you want to get a little bit of a core workout here, core strengthening exercise, you can do some boat sit-ups with me. As you breathe in, straighten out your legs, lean back, don't touch the ground. And on the exhale, come back into boat, bending the knees, sitting back up tall. Let's try 4 more of those with the breath. Inhale, opening. Exhale, closing it up again. 3, 2, and last one. And then release, drop the feet down, putting some space between the feet. Bring the hands behind you, fingers pointing towards the hips. Lean back on your hands and then just gently rock your knees side to side. So really nice release for the hips here. And coming back to center, let's make our way back up to standing. So this time we're going to do our balancing poses. Starting with, actually today we'll start a little bit different. We'll just start by lifting one knee up. All weight comes to one leg, and with the other leg just lift up your knee, interlace your fingers, and clasp them outside of the knee. Check on the standing hip. I have my mic transmitter here, so my hip kind of sticks out there, but you want to make sure that that standing hip is tucked in. You don't want to slouch the hip out to the side. Standing up really straight and tall. And then if you like, you can start to open out towards the side, keeping that hands that's on the same side as the leg and lifting the other arm up. It's like sort of a counterbalance here, stretching those fingers out, opening up the hips. One last breath in and release. Shake it all out. Let's try the other side, see if it feels the same, or maybe it's going to feel very different. All weight comes to the other leg, lifting this knee up, interlacing the fingers outside of the knee, tucking that hip in, making sure we're not slouching the hip out to the side, but we're standing up nice and tall, stretching the spine out tall. And then if you want to have a little bit more of a balance challenge, bringing that arm out to the side, opening up the hip towards the side. One last deep breath in here. Exhale, release and shake it out. All right. Next one, tree pose. All weight comes to one leg. Other leg, we have the knee pointing straight out to the side. 3 options. Keep the toes on the ground. Rest the sole of the foot against your ankle. Lift your foot up with your heel right underneath your knee. Or come all the way up on the thigh. Keep those toes pointing straight down. Any of those 3 positions is fine. There's no right or wrong. Just let your body tell you which one you want to take today. Check on the standing hip. We don't want to be slouching it out to the side in tree pose either. And then once you feel steady on the feet, if you like, you can include your arms. Lifting the arms up. Just like a tree, we're never truly still in tree pose. Our standing foot is constantly making tiny little adjustments to keep you balanced. Give your foot some gratitude. Take one last big breath in. Exhale, release, shake it all out. Other side, all weight coming to the other leg. This knee's turning to point straight out to the side. Same options, toes are on the ground, sole of the foot rests on the ankle. Or maybe you want to lift the heel up underneath the knee. Or come all the way up above the knee on the thigh. Once you feel steady on the feet, if you like, you can start to include the arms, lifting the arms up overhead. Take one last big breath in here. And as you breathe out, release, shaking it all out. One last balancing pose, Warrior 3. I'll turn to the side so you can see the profile here for this one. All weight coming to one leg, just like we came into our first pose. We're going to lift the knee up, and then we're going to lift our hands up overhead. Take a big breath in here. As you breathe out, bend your standing knee, hinge forward from the hips, push that upper foot straight out behind you like you're stamping it into a wall, and bring the arms out wide like airplane wings. Imagine that you want to bring everything except the standing leg parallel to the ground, or as close as you can come. Doesn't need to be perfect, just reaching towards that direction. On a breath in, coming back up, lift the knee back up, arms overhead, and shake it out. And close your eyes for a minute here. Bring the feet hip width distance apart, and then rest your hands on your upper legs. And take a couple big deep breaths, bringing awareness into the legs. Just notice how the legs are feeling different here. One way that we can learn little tidbits of information about our body is by doing something on one side, resting, feeling how it feels in the body, and then doing it on the other side. And then taking the same break and noticing how those sensations are different. There's no right or wrong. We're just feeling into our body now and seeing what's happening there. Blink the eyes open. Let's try the other side. All weight comes to the opposite leg. On a breath in, lifting the knee high. Arms come up overhead. And exhale, warrior three. Bend the standing knee. Hinge forward from the hips. Push that foot straight out behind you or as close as you can come to being parallel to the ground. Even if it's just down here, that's okay. We're just working towards that direction. Keep a bend in the standing leg to help with the balance. Hold on to your breath here. And on an inhale, lift the knee back up, hands up overhead. Exhale, shake it out. Close your eyes, bring the feet hip width distance apart. Rest your hands on your upper legs and bring awareness back into the legs. Just notice what sensations you feel there. Areas of warmth, maybe, areas of coolness. Areas where you might feel a little bit of fatigue, may feel tired or maybe energized. Maybe there's certain sensations that you don't even have words to describe. That's also okay. Just feeling it without any words is perfectly fine. Blink your eyes open. Coming into chair pose. I like to do chair pose with my big toes touching. There's some space between the heels. But some people prefer to have their feet on two different train tracks. So either one of those is fine. Every body is different. So whatever feels right to you is okay. On a breath in, let's sweep the hands up overhead. And as you breathe out, sit back into your imaginary chair, bending the knees, bending the hips. You can go as low as you feel like going, or maybe you want to stay kind of shallow. Whatever feels right to you. Wiggle your toes, bring the weight into the heels, lift up on the spine, sit back deeper, a little bit into your chair, tighten up those leg muscles. This is one of the yoga poses where we maybe even start to feel a little shaking. So I was taught that when you're shaking like that, it releases the cortisol, pent up cortisol from your muscles, the stress hormone. So we're clearing out the muscles here, getting rid of all our old stresses. Take one last big breath in. Exhale, release into a forward fold. Push the knees back, relax the upper body down. Bring weight to your fingertips, bend your knees, and then heel toe the feet. Bringing the feet out nice and wide. And let's come into ragdoll pose here. Relaxing the torso down. Reach your hands out, grab onto opposite elbows, and rock back and forth, side to side. Imagine that you feel all the kinks just falling right out of your spine. And then let's switch our arms. Cross your arms the awkward way, the opposite way. Let's see if there's any differences that you notice anywhere else in your body with the arms crossed the opposite way. Maybe there isn't. Maybe there is. And release. Let your fingertips come back down to the mat, bending the knees, heel toe the feet back together. And then rise up to standing on a breath in. Exhale, mountain pose. Let's make our way back to a seat. Another little seated break here. Easy pose or with the feet open. Close your eyes. If you like, you can even bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly and just really feel the breath here. And see what sensations you're noticing under your fingertips, the palms of the hands. And then imagine that you're feeling your fingertips from the inside of your body. Notice how those fingertips and the palms of the hands feel on your belly, on the skin, and your upper chest. It's amazing that we can send our awareness to all these different body parts. And we can notice what the fingertips feel, and then we can notice what the belly is feeling. They're in the same place and they're in the same body, but they're two different sensations. And release. Let your hands come back down to your lap. Blink your eyes open. And let's make our way into cobbler's pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees open out wide to the sides. Bring the feet as close in as they feel comfortable. They can be a little farther, a little closer. And then the knees, they might be angled up a lot or they might be down lower to the ground. There's no right or wrong there. Whatever is feeling right for you is fine. We can interlace our fingers and tuck them underneath the toes and then take a big breath in here. Sit up really tall. On the exhale, if you like, you can fold forward over the feet, keeping the spine long, maybe opening up the elbows and pushing the knees down. Go as far as you feel comfortable and then relax down into the fold, letting your head and neck relax down. On an inhale, rising back up to a seat. Bring your knees together. Hands come behind you. Fingertips pointing towards the hips. And we're just going to rock our knees side to side. Just like we did before. Releasing the hips after bending them so far open. Just get everything flowing back through the hips again. And stretch the legs out long in front of you, coming into head to knee pose. We bend one knee out to the side and bring the sole of that foot against the opposite leg. And then you can just set your fingertips on either side of your leg. Take a big breath in, sit up really tall. And as you breathe out, start to crawl the fingers forward, hinging from the hips, making a triangle with your arms and your spine and the ground. And then wherever you find your edge, release, relaxing into the fold, rounding the back out, letting your head and neck relax down towards your knee, stretching your arms out as far as they feel comfortable. And on an inhale, walk the hands back, lift your chest up, wiggle your legs out, and switch sides, bending the opposite knee, pulling the sole of the foot against the other leg, resting the fingers on either side of the leg. Take a big breath in. Exhale, crawl the fingertips forward, relaxing into the fold. Let your head and neck relax down. On a breath in, rising back up to a seat. Wiggle the legs out. And this time, let's do both legs at the same time. Stretching the legs out long in front of you, feet together or apart. Start with a staff pose, planting hands on either side of the hips. If it feels good, you can rock side to side and tuck the thumbs underneath you a little bit. Just secure those hands. And then take a big breath in and sit up as tall as you can, maybe rolling the shoulders down the back, maybe even pushing through the curve in the bottom of the palm to bring your arms nice and tall. Push the knees down, but make sure that your knees aren't locked because that cuts off circulation. Heels need to be on the ground, and flex the toes, pulling the toes toward the face. The whole body is super active here. On your next inhale, release just the hands, sweep the hands up overhead. And as you breathe out, fold forward from the hips. You can bend your knees a little bit. Try to keep the spine long and then relax. Once you find the edge, relaxing the upper body down. Inhale, walking the hands back, lifting up the chest. Let's come all the way down onto our backs. Cannonball pose, drawing the knees to the chest, wrapping the arms around the legs. Take a big breath in. Exhale, forehead comes to the knees, curling tight into a ball, squeezing everything together. Releasing your head back down to the ground. Bring your hands to your kneecaps and then just do some gentle circles here. Bigger, smaller, faster, slower. We're just bringing awareness into all the nerve endings in the lower back. Noticing all the points of contact the back is making with the earth here. And then find circles in the opposite direction. Coming back up to center, release your arms, bringing the arms out wide in a T and float the legs in a tabletop 90-degree angle in the knees and hips. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, drop the legs down to one side all the way to the floor. Fingertips can tuck in the crease of the top knee to help the legs stay down. And turn your head towards your other arm. So this is a twist here. You may feel it more on one side of the spine than the other, maybe towards the top or the bottom of the spine. Maybe you even feel it in your leg or your arm. We're going to come in on the other side and compare notes. Let's see if you feel it in different spots on the other side. Just make a note of where you're feeling this twist here. And let's release. Drop that hand back out to the side. Inhale, lift the knees up to center. And on a breath out, dropping them down towards the other side, all the way to the ground. Fingertips can tuck in the crease at the top knee. And then turn the head to bring the gaze over to the opposite arm. And see if you feel this twist on this side in different places than on the other side. Top or bottom of the spine, more to one side than the other. Maybe you feel it in your neck, your shoulder, your hips. And then release. Inhale, lift the legs up to center. As you breathe out, release them all the way down to the mat and make your way to a comfortable Shavasana position here. Shavasana is our final resting pose where we're going to be meditating. So it's really important that you're super comfortable here. You can always put a pillow under your head or maybe a bolster under your knees. Anything that will make you comfortable. If it's not comfortable to lay on your back, you can always lay on your side or maybe even come into a seat here for our last final meditation. We're going to be doing a body scan meditation called Yoga Nidra, which literally means yoga sleep. You probably won't fall all the way asleep, but you might almost feel like you're in a little bit of a meditative state. Just relaxing your body into the ground, closing your eyes, and release your breath, coming back to natural breathing. You guys can stay where you are. I'm going to get up so I can get my booklet with the meditation in it. And now let's begin our meditation. See if there's any adjustments here that you can make to bring yourself 10% more comfortable than you already are, so that you can completely relax into stillness. Closing your eyes, notice any shadows that fall across the eyelids. And now notice all the sounds inside the room. Maybe you have some ambient traffic noise outside. Maybe there's some vents or heaters blowing. Maybe you hear some birds chirping. Just bring your awareness to those sounds so that you're attuned to what's happening around you. Now listen to all the sounds you can hear inside of your own body. Maybe you hear your breath. Feel the weight of your body on the surface of the mat. Feel your breath gently flowing in and out. Notice what is present in you at this time. There's no need to change your experience. We're just being with ourselves just as we are. Thoughts coming and going. Turn your attention to the sensations of your body. Without moving it, bring all of your awareness to your right thumb, noticing where it is in space, if it's touching anything, how it feels. You can imagine it in your mind's eye. Bring awareness to your right index finger. Notice where it is, how it feels. Right middle finger, right ring finger, right pinky finger. Bringing awareness to your right palm, perhaps noticing a texture or a temperature there. Back of the right hand, right wrist. Bring awareness to your right lower arm, right elbow, right upper arm, and right shoulder. All of your awareness is on your right hand and arm as they relax. Bringing awareness to your right ribs. Maybe you feel them moving with your breath. Right waist, right hip, right upper leg, the thigh, right knee, the front and the back, right lower leg, the shin and calf. Bringing awareness to your right ankle, the top of your right foot, the bottom of your right foot, the heel, the arch, and each of your right toes. All of your awareness is on your right side, leg and foot, as they relax. Shifting awareness to your left thumb, noticing where it is in space, if it's touching anything, how it feels. Moving to the left index finger, left middle finger, left ring finger, left pinky finger. Bringing awareness to your left palm, the back of the left hand, left wrist, left lower arm. Bringing awareness to your left elbow, left upper arm, and left shoulder. All of your awareness is on your left hand and arm as they relax. Bringing awareness to your left ribs. Perhaps you feel them moving as you breathe. Left waist, left hip, left upper leg, the thigh, left knee, the front and back, left lower leg, the shin and calf, left ankle, top of the left foot, the bottom of the left foot, the heel, the arch, and each of your left toes. All of your awareness on your left side, leg and foot, as they relax. Bringing awareness to the back of your head, top of your head, forehead, eyebrows, eyelids, nose, cheeks, lips, chin and jaw, the neck and throat, collarbones, and that space in your chest where your heart sits. All of your awareness on your head, face, and heart as they relax. Take a moment to feel where you might still be holding on to tension, self-judgments, or if you're struggling against yourself in any way. Allow yourself, if it feels right, to drop the tension, the judgments, and the struggle, and just be as you are, resting here, feeling the sensations of the body and the breath gently flowing in and out. We'll have a few minutes here for silent meditation, and then we'll come together and do some last poses together. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, taking some deeper inhales and exhales, bringing some movement into your fingers and toes. You can roll your wrists and ankles, rock your head side to side, and then when you feel ready, make your way back up to a comfortable seat. We'll do some last couple poses together to shake our yoga fog. Making your way into easy pose. Let's come into a forward fold, resting the fingers on the ground. Take a big breath in, sit up really tall. And as you breathe out, slide or walk the fingers forward, relaxing the upper body down, folding over the feet. Inhale, coming back up to a seat and floating the hands all the way up overhead. Exhale into a side stretch. Let's drop one hand down beside us. Let the other arm come arcing overhead like a rainbow, and then crawl those fingers on the ground out to the side. Leaning down towards the hand, maybe bending, straightening the elbow. Just bring awareness into that open side there. Just noticing any sensations you feel there. Inhale, coming back up to center, floating the hands up. Exhale, down the other way, planting the other hand, walking the fingers out, opposite arm arcing overhead like a rainbow, bending, straightening that elbow, or maybe dropping it all the way to the ground. Just noticing how that open side feels right there. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Thank you all so much for joining me today for yoga.